Make Calcutta relevant again.
You already know.
Relevant again. Make Calcutta relevant again.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Make Calcutta Relevant Again, and we have two wonderful guests with us today, Abhishek Rungta and Kabir Siddiq, who are in their ways making Calcutta relevant and making business relevant here again. And hi Meghdut.
Hi Shabba, we're back again at it. I can't believe we've been able to sustain doing this podcast. When people see it, they'll realize.
Yeah.
But we've been doing. I thought maybe we'll do one episode and then we'd get tired or something will not work out. Like in a lot of cases it happens. But it's been a good run so far, and I'm glad that we are talking more about entrepreneurship. I think entrepreneurship forms the very soul of any city. It forms the soul for new businesses to be created. And because entrepreneurship at the end of the day stems from innovation, so we have two very
And
innovative.
entrepreneurship
Yes.
also has a long history in Calcutta,
Yeah.
as Abhishek was telling me about it just before we started.
Yeah. So first history lesson from Abhishek sir. Sir, आप थोड़ा अगर अपने audiences को थोड़ा बोलो कि you've been and he's like a big daddy of the scene. He's been around for such a long time, both as an entrepreneur and as an ecosystem enabler. So I think great. Let's hear some context about Calcutta's entrepreneurship scene from Abhishek, and then we'll get to the Kabir Siddiq side of things.
No, I mean, I'm not a history expert, but whatever I have read, I think Calcutta has been the place where most of the first organizations in India were born. The modern organizations, if I can say, when the British were here, the Indian entrepreneurship flourished in Kolkata. It grew in Kolkata. Of course, it also spread to Mumbai and other parts of the country. So I think we should not put a stigma on a particular region like Kolkata, saying that this is not for entrepreneurs, because historically this is the place where entrepreneurship actually started in India. And I think it has flourished at its own time, and obviously there has been changes and things have changed a little bit, but I think it's getting back here now.
Yeah. And you've been one of those people who's been very active in making sure that it does come back. I mean, both through IndusNet and various other ways that you've helped build the ecosystem as well. Tell us a little bit about the very beginnings of IndusNet. I mean, today we obviously see it as the giant that it is, and all of the international projects that you guys do. But it didn't start with that, right? And you were telling us stories about 19-year-old you selling your domain space or hosting to Pallav's dad. By the way, Pallav in question here is Pallav Nadhani of Fusion Charts, maybe one of the best entrepreneurs to have come out, like best inspirations for a lot of us entrepreneurs who are building in Calcutta. So a little bit about that time, when there was nothing in the city in terms of an ecosystem, and there from where you built IndusNet.
Yes, I think it was way back in '97. In fact, even before that, internet was new in India. '95 internet came in. First time I used internet, I think I figured out that internet is the end, the beginning and end of my career, because the way it connected people, it connected the world together. I think it made me understand and feel that it's extremely powerful, and this is what the future of the world would look like. And that was the beginning of it. I started with selling domain names. People would like to register domain names. The process was pretty cumbersome at that time. I would help people register the domain names. In fact, even before that, I was teaching people how to use internet. Install internet connections, install modems at people's home. So it was the beginning from that time. And you would be surprised to know that way back in 96, 97, I was selling VoIP.
Oh wow.
Yes. And I was selling VoIP, which is right now.
I was 5 years old. I did not know what VoIP was, but
so there was So again, those were the beginning, and again the industry did not have as much money as we see in this industry today. But it was good old days. A lot of times you always feel that those days were better, because you were on the ground, you were meeting a lot of new people, you were doing a lot of new things, and things were changing, and everything was like amusing. Now at least with time, you get a little bit of a wisdom so that you can look a little bit in the future. So that excitement kind of wanes down a little bit. But I think those early days were like very exciting. In fact, now it's also getting back in similar phase, because the pace of change in the world that we see today is very fast,
and that forces you to learn also.
That forces you to learn.
Ground,
yeah. So I mean, either you are learning and adapting, or you are out. It's as simple as that. That's how this industry is.
So whoever does it better and faster.
Yeah, better and faster. Yeah.
What have you been doing better and faster?
Better
Can you
and
tell us
faster.
about your story?
We've been trying. We started off from Calcutta. I actually first started with a small mattress business out here, who I met when I met a friend in Bombay, and he's wanted someone trustable to open up in East India. So this is after my banking days when I thought I'd come join my father's business in Calcutta
And your father had a business
in modular furniture.
Right.
Very different from what I started. So I came back here, started working with dad. Definitely didn't enjoy working with him, and I thought we were very different. And so I thought I'll start something of my own, and that's when I had met a lot of friends in Bombay, and I took over a brand of his and brought it to East India. And typical traditional retail, working for hotel projects, dealer distributors. But in 6 months' time, I realized this isn't working. I burnt my fingers because people didn't know how to buy a mattress. It's still this 2022, people have no idea what's inside the mattress. Cars are flying and people have no idea. So I used to see people coming into the retail showroom, look at 8 to 10 mattresses, be so confused, never have a joy in buying it the way you would have a joy in buying a TV for your house or sofa for your house. You know, like, dude, they just want to complete it at any particular price. They don't know which mattress is going to suit you. They just want to complete the purchase and go home. And the entire fun, the joy, the relevance, everything was just commoditized to a perspective where, hey, I just want to spend a basic amount of money, get any decent mattress that suits me and walk away. And out here we were trying to sell luxury mattresses and bedding and pillows, and they weren't adapted to that yet. And I realized that, hey,
This
people...
is which time?
This is like 2016.
16, okay.
So I was like, hey, people need simplified choice. One mattress, it has all the features at a very good price point. And I used to now start taking people who came into the showroom to that one particular mattress. I said, hey, this is the only one for you. This is good for you. I avoided
So
all
for
the
everyone,
others.
it was the only
and
one.
I started selling. When you had to choose, when you have too
The
much choice for
simplicity of
consumer,
choice.
Yeah.
exactly, limited it for them, it became easier for them to purchase it. They didn't have to go to different showrooms, bargaining power, and they couldn't return it if they didn't want. All of those things existed. So, hey, burnt my fingers, learned from that there has to be a better way and a more fun way for people to purchase these products. So, a year and a half later, doing all research, going to Chandni Chowks of India and asking how much does a gadda cost, everything, and how can I build one for the Indian consumers when we started Sleepy Cat. And now we sell mattresses of very high quality in a range of just 10 to 25,000. We simplify the entire product and sell direct from factory, and we do all the sleep solutions at a quarter of the price because we manufacture and deliver to you.
Coming back to you, what has been your greatest learning from the world of entrepreneurship? Like, what is, if you had to, say, how long have you been an entrepreneur now?
25 years.
25 years? So that's like since I was 5 years old. Okay, so 96, that's when you started. Around 96, 97, right. So in 25 years, if you could crystallize that into one solid chunk of information which you could pass on and that could be your manifesto, what would that be?
No, I think you need to solve real problems. You need to solve difficult problems, and you need to have an absolute focus on what you are doing. And last but not the least, the customer has to be the center of the company. If I think these 3-4 things are followed, done, I think you can build a great business. The rest, a lot of things are there around it, how to achieve it. You will build interesting strategies, you will do market entry, a lot of different things you will do. But I think at the core of it, these 3-4 points, and maybe there will be another 2 more points, but these are the 4 core things that I remember right now that needs to be done.
And you guys have a direct to consumer business model, right? So,
Yes.
and you went from investment banking to this, and what
Yes.
has that journey taught you?
Investment banking gave me at least a lot of professionalism. I feel I needed that straight out of college. I don't think I could get into my own business.
Which college did you go to?
I went to Indiana University in America.
Right.
There I double majored, economics, telecommunication, did a business minor. I did all that work.
Yeah.
I have no idea how I got into investment banking. I actually remember I went to the Oxford bookstore in Park Street when I didn't want to work with my dad. This is when I came back in 2011 from America, and I bought the Vault Guide to Finance Interviews. And I read that entire book and I went to Bombay. I gave interviews and I got a job. So that's how my journey started. Because I thought obviously investment banking is the fancy job to take at that point. Didn't like it obviously. Came back to dad like, sorry, can I come and try again? And that's in 2000.
Dads are usually like, they would forgive you, right?
Yeah.
For all your sins of
So
the
this
past.
is end of 2015, coming back again, hopefully a little bit more mature.
Yeah.
And came back as like, man, I can't work with dad. He's good. I'm different. So
At least you didn't say I'm better. Like that would be
different.
too pompous of you. I think
No,
in
no.
the Indian context, it's something.
Then after your father hears this, then he'll be like, "Oh, you think you're better than me?" Then that would be a
He
problem.
knows, he's heard this before, and even today we can't work together. He has no idea of anything I do at work. So did that and came back, and obviously didn't like it, and then but obviously gave me a lot of professional knowledge, how systems are run, how's HR run, how is hiring done, how is anything that takes place, how do you do performance reviews. That helped me in setting up my own company and my own journey, and obviously we were lucky to be invested early on, and then we had mentors who were our investors who were mentors on that front. Abhishek would know well, he's done so much of that, and a lot of them would be very thankful to him, and we had that support as well through our journey, and that's taught us, and we've always learned that solving a real world problem definitely has to be there, and back it up with real product. We manufacture. We're just not a trading company that's saying plaster a logo on an ABC product and say now I'll sell it at cheaper and faster. We're actually creating value for consumers on that front, and in this journey I truly believe that you have to also continue doing it better and faster than anyone else. You have to adapt. There's a lot of competition. The world is moving fast.
And I think you have solved a very core problem of how to package it, how to basically store it, and that gives you a big competitive edge.
Yeah. It's a real world problem. Think about it like Swiggy today. You won't go to a restaurant for takeaway if you can order.
Right.
IRCTC railway booking platform. Before it existed, you would go to the train station. Now who will go to the train station? So if I can give you a mattress quarter of the price that you would buy, cheaper, better, faster, simplified online, comes in a box, 72-hour delivery, don't like
It comes in a box. How is your mattress coming in a box?
Okay, so think about a smiley ball, the stress balls that we use.
Yeah.
We can squeeze it as much as possible.
Right.
Into our palms, and once you release it goes back to its original shape.
Right.
So we can take high-end mattresses, memory foam mattresses, has all the work, zipper covers, cool tech technology. We use 100 tons of force with a special machinery, compress it and quickly vacuum seal it, and then we can roll it into a small box and ship it to you. Because it's high quality foam, once you open it, it pops up to its original shape. So we cut out the middlemen, and you don't like it, free trial, we'll come to your doorstep and pick it up for 100% refund for 30 nights. So when we solve that core problem, it's a value proposition for a consumer. Hopefully it's a pull product itself and not just a push.
Yeah. And honestly speaking, a lot of people don't even understand how to really judge a mattress, right? So you can guide
What are
them.
the KPIs for
We
your
have
mattress
the
purchase?
sleep experts. You call us and we guide. They're all first time mattress buyers. Everyone who's going to be buying a mattress through us is going to be a first time
Yeah,
mattress
because nobody
buyer.
just like randomly goes and buys mattresses. Like, आज मेरे को mattress खरीदने जाना है. ये मोमो नहीं है.
And it's not a pleasure experience, to be honest. Like, it's a
Exactly.
need. I have to complete it. I have to tick off my to-do
And
list.
that's
and I have to
why
move
the
forward.
industry was so commoditized, and we want to bring that fun into it. Today we love spending your Sunday afternoon watching Netflix, reading a book in bed, and you dream of those hotel mattresses, and like, hey, we can provide all that fun stuff at direct from factory prices to you. We are that one sleep solutions company that you want to invest with.
Yeah. I mean, how many companies do you remember which really have a legacy, or the people behind it have a legacy that you remember 200, 300 years from now? On a planet which is there for lakhs of years,
Yeah.
right? Even if you don't remember what has been done 200 years from now, I mean, you understand very well what value of legacy holds actually.
I mean, the oldest legacy company you can think of is East India Company, and that's not a legacy that
That's
you
not even
want
there.
to. Yeah, no,
And
but
you don't even
that's
respect
you,
it.
You don't respect. You don't want to remember
course.
the
Don't
legacy of the
remember
East
that.
India Company.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
At one point of time, I think possibly the largest company in the world,
World,
maybe
yeah.
with massive amount of wealth.
Yeah.
And you don't
The
remember.
one of the wealthiest companies, because of which Britain was able to have that empire, was because of East India Company.
Yeah.
For a second, I was afraid you were going to say impact, and I was like, that's not the kind of impact we're talking about. It's not good impact. Yeah, 250 साल ये impact का ये झेलना पड़ा हम लोगों को, but sorry.
No, I mean, if you can inspire few people to do, to get into entrepreneurship, or if your way of looking at things, if that can inspire few people, and they adapt some of them, for whatever period they can really live that. I think that's the maximum anyone can do today. Most of the people. I mean, again, I'm not talking about the outliers. And there are, of course, outliers like Elon Musk and Bill Gates and all these top guns who have really changed the world. But again, even those legacies won't live beyond 300, 400 years.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it will live that time or not, we don't know. I mean, it will just may become one entry into a history book. That who invented
Jeff
operating
Bezos
system.
keeps saying
Yeah.
that Amazon will fail one day.
Yeah, it has to.
right? It has to.
Yeah.
It's just that how long can we prolong it for?
Yeah.
Everything
And the
changes.
faster route you are on, the higher probability that you will fail earlier. Right? So they are in a much faster route, so they will fail for sure.
What about
Things
your?
change on that front. For us, I mean, to answer the question on whether I could work with my father, I think we're very different, and I think that's why I chose to take my own path as well, and not for anything else, but times are changing, and I think that you take career advice from someone under 40 and life advice from someone above 40.
That's a
That's
good
a
one.
T-shirt.
That's a
a
T-shirt.
Oh, we have to tell you about this, by the way. Every episode, like we whatever nice one-liners come out of it, we put them on T-shirts. So we have from the first episode, somebody had mentioned that we should have a Calcutta Appreciation Society. We put it on a T-shirt, and now we have Calcutta Appreciation Society T-shirts. We'll give them to you after this is over. And hopefully for the next guest, this line that you should take career advice.
Every time I tried talking to Dad about work and business, and he was, I mean, not in a bad way, but in a different way, he was just very somber about it. Like, take it easy, scale slowly, and at our age, we're aggressive. And not aggressive only from the point of view that I want to become the biggest, but hey, we can do things faster. We can scale faster on that front, and that's why you take in capital infusion to do that. And they don't understand some of it, and because they have built their businesses very differently. So that's hence I've been on my own path, and actually very similar when Abhishek said, his father is now the CFO. I sometimes work with Dad on a few projects of ours. Like we have warehouses now across the country, and we built this factory in Gurgaon, and Dad has a commercial sense to it. He's been there, he's experienced. So I take him for these pockets of projects and ask him for help on that front. But that's about it.
But you do work with your sister, right? You do work with
Again,
sister
I can't work with family. My sister works in a different team. Obviously, that team has a head who reports to me. She directly doesn't work with me.
Yeah. Oh, but your sister's part of the organization.
Yeah, she works as part of in a particular team. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And what about your relationship with the members of your family? Like how?
All great. Mom, Dad. Mom always thinks I'm a hero. Thank you, Mom. She always thinks I'm a hero. That's
You
how
are
they
a
think.
hero, right? You look like
That's how she thinks all day.
I think he could have been in some movie or
All the
something.
children.
Even now.
Even now, I think he could be a hero. A
So-
good backup plan. I mean, if I don't know, Sleepy Cat.
hopefully, yeah.
Well, hopefully, it doesn't come to that.
Hopefully, it doesn't come to that.
Yeah.
It could be two parallel paths
Also
instead
could
of
be
like a
two
backup plan, right?
Yeah.
His investors won't be happy with it.
Investors only have
Are you already thinking of there's some investment ideology happening here? No.
But yeah, Mom, Dad, sister, always out of Calcutta. I shuffle a lot, and my sister sometimes travel for work to meet the other team based in Delhi. But great equation otherwise. It's always fun, but I don't talk too much about work because it's not very relatable on that front.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But your headquarters now are in Delhi?
Bombay mainly.
Bombay,
We
okay.
started off here in Calcutta. Bombay is head office and factories in Delhi.
Right.
So why choose Bombay specifically as a head office when your factory's in Delhi and
Um,
is Calcutta?
And why move out of Calcutta also?
I moved out of Calcutta. So I started Sleepy Cat here, and there is obviously a love for the city of Bombay because I was investment banking there, and I have a lot of friends from there. But also I figured that in order to scale and to get the right talent, meet the investors, a lot of them were situated there. So it made it easier for me to build. Hence, but obviously we still have a route out here of Sleepy Cat with a small warehouse and manufacturing unit out here as well.
Where's your warehouse?
Howrah,
Nowra?
Ondal Road.
Andhra Road, yeah.
To what extent would you agree or disagree with that? Because this is where the polarity is. You've never left Calcutta.
Not necessary. So, though I live in Calcutta, most of my developers are in Calcutta. Most of the business I do is outside Calcutta.
Okay.
So, because what I do basically is obviously software engineering for financial services and healthcare. If you see the major entities are based either in Mumbai or London or in parts of US or Singapore. So my clients are outside Calcutta. So I have to operate outside Calcutta. Though my majority of the people are here. So you can say that my manufacturing, if I can use the word, is in Calcutta, but my entire distribution and my customer base is outside Calcutta. Yeah. So again, we have offices in other parts, like we have Chennai, we have Bombay, Delhi, we have offices there. People work out of those places. So for us, I think, Calcutta, of course, is the hub because of me living here and because of my family being here. And it will remain as a hub for some time, long time maybe. But we are also open to expand the other centers depending upon what the demand is like in the market and what the needs are. So I think the business should be run on need to a great extent. Obviously, you should have emotion for the place you belong to and you should support that. But I think eventually the business fundamentals should be run based on what the needs are.
There's a vicious cycle of it. I have 1-2 friends who are entrepreneurs, have a startup in Calcutta and are based out of here. If there is enough startup availability out here, you would see talent remain here. Otherwise, they always have a dream that they might start off here after college, but hey, I can go to Bombay, Bangalore and get a better job at a better startup. And so these friends who have startups out here have a very high attrition rate because they say that, hey, no one lasts more than a year because they use this as a stepping stone and move out.
Yeah.
But if there are enough startups that provide enough opportunity, people would stick around that circle. It just depends on how it gets built, and if there are enough entrepreneurs, new age entrepreneurs that can offer that to people out here, it will happen.
So it's a catch-22.
It is.
Kabir, yeah, because see, for building good companies, to locate good companies in Kolkata, you need good people. For good people to come to Kolkata, you need good companies. So it's a vicious
Exactly.
cycle because of that. Right?
Exactly.
And it is unstoppable right now.
Exactly.
And for that, you have to create those opportunities. But you cannot just create opportunities out of thin air. Right? You need good people to create opportunities.
Yeah.
So it's like it builds on top of each other. Right?
Absolutely.
And that is where the whole problem lies. Right? So and you need a critical mass as well. Right? If you bring in good people, they will leave Calcutta soon because they don't see like-minded people. And that is why you see, and I think Calcutta somehow, at least on the IT sector, I can say, we have fundamentally kind of have a fascination about the biggies outside Calcutta, right? So we call them multinationals, right? And I mean, again, it might be my fault in branding or it might be perception problem in the market. We are a multinational.
Yeah,
Right?
you have
We are a
offices in
multinational. We have
multinational-
offices and subsidiaries all over the world. 70% of our revenue comes from outside Calcutta, right? But if you ask someone that, if you are moving to XYZ company, why are you moving? Oh, they are MNC. Now, I do not understand what are we giving as a definition of MNC to these kids, right? And MNC and why not a Calcutta-based MNC?
Yeah.
So unless we have that thought process, communicated to them early on, it's very difficult for them to digest that, I want to stay here, build something meaningful, and that also needs some sacrifice. So unfortunately, again, I cannot generalize, but the current set of people who are coming out of colleges, they want a lot of things. They want to grow in their career. Sacrifice is not the real word that they actually follow today, right? I mean, and I think it's reducing. So maybe my grandfather or your grandfather must have sacrificed a lot more.
Oh my God,
Then
yeah.
your father must have sacrificed maybe a little less. Then you may sacrifice a little bit, but not beyond the point.
Yeah.
Your son or daughter will not sacrifice at all, maybe. I mean, so this is, I think,
the generational thing that it's
so they will say,
depreciating.
I need this and I will do this because this is what will help me.
So it's the instant gratification angle also that
Yes,
comes in, right?
absolutely.
Like you want everything immediately delivered, and the organizations which are able to provide for that, like Sleepy Cat, you're feeding that, and in a good way, like not in a bad way. You're helping, you're moving along with the customers' requirements and needs. There's nothing wrong with that.
And we are not blaming them. I think
Yeah.
it's all across the world. So we are not saying कि Calcutta वालों में ये problem है. ऐसा नहीं है.
Of course.
ये पूरी दुनिया में ऐसा चल रहा है. Everybody is doing that, right? And it started with the West. And now it is also permeating in the East. And eventually it will cover the world because that's the ideology that we all have appreciated. We all have, encouraged.
I love the point of the Calcutta MNC. I think this, I've never thought about it
Yeah.
that way. That, you are. And there are a couple of others as well.
Yes,
Quite
absolutely.
a few actually.
Many,
Many
yeah.
of them who have
Yeah.
built. And whenever you think Calcutta, you normally think, MSME, or, you're a small enterprise, whatever. But it's not. And it's, I mean, although a large part of the GDP does come from the MSME sector, but there are organizations like yourselves and, with, in
I mean,
various
one
parts.
very interesting company in Calcutta is, Manyavar.
Manyavar, yeah,
Yes.
that's right.
Bandhan Bank, right?
Huh.
These are organizations which has national impact and eventually they will have global impact.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we have to change our mindset about looking at the companies and opportunities, right? I mean, we might discount many lacunas in a brand that we have heard many times, but even if I see one problem in a Calcutta company, I might come very harsh on it. I think we have to get out of that mindset.
It's a lot. Huh?
It's a lot.
Let's see.
And hopefully that will change the relevance angle of the city
Yeah.
as well. And,
Yeah.
and obviously we're super proud, Abhishek,
Thank
with
you.
the work that you do and the way you keep improvising and evolving as well with time.
And
That's-
innovating, always.
Always.
Thanks.
We'll finish with a couple of words from you.
Yeah, I think in my own way, what at least we let the rest of the country realize, when we sit in front of investors that, hey, I am from Calcutta.
Yeah.
And they understand that, hey, okay, there are entrepreneurs that come out of there. There's a lot of relevance. And I try giving back by having a lot of, any entrepreneurs that want to come and have a chat with me. Hey, how do we go about this? I'm also starting something new. And keep promoting that, keep pushing them in that journey and helping them. And you see the few entrepreneurs that do come out of Calcutta, gone into the startup phase and are working with investors. I think it's more about recognizing that there is a lot out here and that it's okay to be here. If you find your niche, if you find the people you can work with out here. So it's just encouraging that, providing those a little bit of sharing of knowledge on that front that can help in that journey. I think that's what I can do at the moment. And that's what I'm doing my best at, and letting everyone else at least recognize outside Calcutta that, hey, we are from Calcutta. There's a lot out here that can happen. And it is happening. I do see that. So it's just about providing that, the platform to let people know that, okay, we exist.
Yeah. No, I mean, even from when I came back to the city to now, the way that I see the ecosystem's evolved, Abhishek, we've interacted so many times in so many places, and you see that the thirst of young people now to get into the entrepreneurship space for whatever reason. Sometimes it might also be for the glamour, but at least they're trying. At least there's positive conversation around it. Just last week, I organized another episode of Innovators Over Coffee, which is every last Friday of the month we do that. And the whole idea of that is to bring entrepreneurs together. And staggeringly, we had 3 new partners join in, like 2 coffee brands, like 1 lifestyle brand. There's 100+ entrepreneurs in the room. Every single person in the room is a startup founder. That gives me hope. It's been a good year for entrepreneurship in general, for Calcutta as well, for Bengal startups. We've seen Data Sutram, get a couple of $1 million in funding. Calcutta company, home built in Jadavpur University, and then they're doing good work. They're on Forbes. However, we might joke or say whatever. Okay.
So Cedars invested in them.
Cedars invested in them. Their Calcutta Angel Network. When I think they were also getting some initial investment from
I'm
there
not
at that
aware,
time.
but Cedars did around for them.
You did it around for them as well. Yeah. I'd helped them also get associated with a couple of, and they're Amitabh's son, right, and Rajit. So obviously it comes good. I was going to say grain, but good genes. Yeah, that comes in. So Banglanatak.com. That's another. I think maybe the first UNESCO supported social enterprise in the country, perhaps. So from back in the day, Amitabh again, Harvard grad. Right. Came back to Calcutta to do that work. So entrepreneurship is there. I think it's, and before it was, you had to look for it. I think that's changed. It's a lot more relevant now. Otherwise, Cedars would not have been there. Yeah. If you think about it, there's so much more, available material, available entrepreneurs, and hopefully with all our joint efforts, I guess we'll make Calcutta a bit more relevant than it is.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot more relevant.
A lot more
relevant, yeah.
Thank you everyone for tuning in for another episode of Make Calcutta Relevant Again, the podcast. And on behalf of the entrepreneurship ecosystem, this has been a pleasure talking to you guys. And I think a lot of learnings in this episode. Shabba, any last words?
Thank you so much for tuning in. And it was a pleasure having both of you on the episode. And I feel very inspired by both of you.
Maybe you can be an entrepreneur someday. Shall we think about it?
Okay.
We'll talk.
We'll talk. Maybe I'll be a guest on this podcast soon.
So you just want to move, like this is the shortest possible displacement. You want to move from this chair to that chair. That's the reason why you want an entrepreneur. Better reasons. You need better reasons to be an entrepreneur. Anyway, we'll keep joking and chatting while you guys go and take a rest. It's been absolutely fun talking to all of you, and hope that you can join us on the next episode as well. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Make Calcutta relevant again. You already know. Relevant again. Make Calcutta relevant again.